Welcome back to the human side of scale. Today's guest is Ruben Spruijt, a field CTO for the likes of Dizion, Frame and Atlantis, and who's spent more than 20 years shaping the digital workspace industry and written 5 books and spoken at hundreds of events around the world. But today, we're not just talking about his career. In January 2025, what should have been a routine leadership offsite at a ranch in Texas became a life-changing near-death experience. A freak accident, a devastating head injury, and a moment when Ruben genuinely thought he might never see his wife and children again. What followed was a story of survival, extraordinary kindness, faith, and a series of events that Ruben describes as nothing short of miraculous. I love a miracle. Today, we're going to explore what happened that night and how it changed him, and what facing your own mortality teaches you about leadership, resilience, and what really matters. So, Ruben, welcome to the human side of scale.
Great. Thanks. Thanks for the great introduction as well. I didn't know what you want to say, but this hits the mark. Thanks.
Well, the thing is, we've not had a chat like this yet. Now, when I started up this podcast, I knew I wanted to do something different. I knew I wanted to get to the human underneath. The business conversations are all well and good, but come on, let's face it, we're human. Yeah. And obviously, I've been on my own journey with spirituality. There's definitely been like a real want and need to bring that into the conversations. And obviously you and I started speaking because of the Mark Templeton podcast, in which Mark was extremely human, extremely authentic, and also kind of, brought in his own beliefs around spirituality and that kind of thing. And I think these conversations allow us as humans to really open up about that. And I'm finding that's just really happening now on this podcast. It's super interesting how many of these conversations are opening up. So when you and I had the initial conversation, we were talking about work, and that happened for a little while, and that's all well and good. And then came the near-death experience chat. So before we get into that, because obviously that is really what I really want to explore with you, let's just get into who was Ruben prior? So let's maybe just delve a little bit into maybe what it was like for you growing up, your experiences, kind of who you were from a place of what you wanted to be in life. Had you always had, your eye on the prize and you knew exactly what you were doing? Just take me through a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm a Dutch guy. I'm a technologist, so I grew up with technology and IT and computers and networking and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm not really a planner like, hey, I want to be here in 5 years from now or something like that. So we ask, hey, do you know where you want to be? I just take it up and pick it up and see what comes on my path. Of course, I plan, but not like way ahead. Mm-hmm. My dad was in IT, more on the sales side of things. I joined him after school in a sort of startup back in the early IT days. Spent 5 years, then another close to I think 20 years as an CTO, solution architect in a large system integrator, and then I joined 2 startups. You already mentioned them: Atlantis Computing. Startup in California, and then Atlantis got sold off, and then I joined Frame. Frame got acquired by Nutanix, and it's always sort of a startup life. Although Nutanix is not, especially back then and still today, not like a startup, but always wearing multiple hats, but always with feet on the ground, technology, human, connected. Building communities, but always smaller, multiple hats, sales, technology, marketing in some degree as well. So, yeah.
Okay. So would you say quite introverted or extroverted? Because obviously I know with a lot of technical people.
Introvert. If you ask my mom.
Introvert.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because I know obviously with technology, you've got kind of people who are very, very heavily technical and introvert. You've also got people who have a bit of a mix of the two and can be quite, the good pre-sales people, shall we say.
Yeah. I learned over time to become more extrovert.
Okay.
And of course, you have your experience and your backpack with skills you learn with experience in general. So over time, I become much more extrovert. Even like last week or last days and week, my kids and my wife said, "Hey, you're much better in small talk than you were like long time ago." So they picked it up as well.
So it's kind of like a skill that you've had to learn to just kind of adapt to what people do. I mean, small talk, it's nonsense anyway, isn't it, really? Like,
but it's not my sort of default mode of operation. But that's good. It's good to learn
nice
and
weather.
Good to
We all do it, don't we?
Yeah, we're Adam Judge guys, so there's always something about the weather. So that's the easy one. But it's good. Also good when you look at sort of the crazy story. I would talk about that. I have more of these kind of experiences, not as crazy as this one. So there's always something you can talk about. And of course, you sense it's the right moment to talk about something human, something personal.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not the right moment to talk about that. But I also think many of us, maybe all of us, but that's always tricky to call it all, but many of us are looking, are wondering, are asking, like, are debating with themselves, like, hey, like personal questions. Why I'm here? What's the purpose? Do I do the right thing as a dad in my family? What can I improve? What I'm doing well? How can I help others in the family, others in the community? Maybe I run into many people when I'm presenting. There's always something to talk about from a business technology perspective. But often I try to help others and also share like personal stories with them to help them. And also that helping them also means helping myself. Yeah. Because you get feedback, you learn things from their experiences. So it's a beautiful learning experience.
Yeah, we're all just trying to connect, aren't we? And trying to find ways to do that. So prior to the event that we're going to talk about, what was your view on kind of faith? Like, were you quite? Did you have faith? Did you believe in anything, or were you like the atheist who kind of changed their mind? Like, what was? And were you a searcher? Would you say that you were really looking for something? Like, were you kind of at that point of like, is this it?
Yeah, good question. So I grew up with faith. My parents, family are religious people of faith. But especially in the early days, and early maybe up till, I would say, half 20s, maybe 30, faith was much more of being part of something than it was like a relationship with my God. And that came later when things happen in life. You focus on different things. So over time, faith didn't become like church or rules, but faith became a relationship for me. That I didn't start with that in the early days. For me, the early days was like, you hang out with people in the same church. I'm happy there was no social media back then.
Right, yeah.
But that's part of being young and you experience things in life. But over time, when we received 3 kids, you question things, you investigate things, you have other conversations, and you just go deeper into the religious side of things. And then, this crazy thing happened. And prior to that, we didn't talk about this. September this year, I will be on a sailing trip with friends in Greece. So this time we have 7 boats, but 5. This is the 5th time. It will be the 5th time. So this started 7 years ago. This sailing trip, and this sailing trip is all about friendship, sharing life, drinking ouzo, farting on the boat, like all the crazy, all the crazy things.
Yeah, just men then.
Yeah, exactly. All men on the boat, all good. All good. But also sharing life, and that means what I learned over the first sailing trip is like, hey, I thought I had my own backpack with challenges, and then you learn, hey, on this boat you share life. Everyone has their backpack, some of them with even more stuff in it, others less stuff in it. So, and that connected also to faith and religion and like trust and believe there's like a bigger plan and like a bigger story than just here on Earth. So that sailing trip is, and sailing trips, every time something special happens on these trips.
Yeah.
And that helped me, back to your original question, that helped me also to know for sure, for myself, I can only talk for me, I know for sure there is a bigger plan for me. And that bigger plan and love attached to that is God and Jesus for me. And of course, there are many questions I don't know answers on, for sure. But I believe in the bigger picture. I believe in the small picture, like me, Ruben, on this massive Earth. And there's something special for me waiting as well. So that gives me trust in the future, even if the future is not here on Earth.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm with you on all of that. So just very quickly, not very quickly, but on the sort of when you said the relationship to my God, like outside of religion, right? We're going outside. We're going direct experience. Yeah.
Yes.
So was there a direct experience before this main event?
Yes. Multiple times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
That's sort of attached. And again, we didn't talk about this.
Yeah, no, I know.
To our meeting.
Well, we'd have been on the phone for about 9 hours if we'd have got into it all.
But yeah, no, I had, that sounds very wobbly, fake. I'm not sure how you call it, like very sensitive, very, maybe for some people tricky as well. Yeah, I'm really a down-to-earth technology guy. And people who know me well can sort of relate to that. But on these trips, I had multiple dreams, not for myself, but for others, which is very, very uncommon, especially the first time, like, okay, what should I do with this dream? And a sort of message in this dream for someone else. And I've seen that 5-6 times so far. Really? And that could be like a podcast on its own, but like, that's not the point. Yeah, these dreams, it was very tough to share that dream because, like, imagine you're on a boat with like 8 guys I didn't know, like 8 guys, 6 of them I didn't know. So 2 of them I do know, like friends or people I know from church or like something else, family, extended family. But then then I share a story, a dream, with them, and that changed people's life. Like afterwards, I met his family. And he said, hey, I have a complete new husband, or my dad changed like completely. Or even my employer, I met some colleagues, my employer changed after the sailing trip because of what I shared through this dream, which I received from God. And I've seen that 6 times so far. So going back to your question, did you have something, did you already had a relationship? Yes, because I was able to sort of receive that message in a dream and share that with some sort of confidence that this is the right thing to share. And that's very sort of tricky. It doesn't feel, it's not comfort zone at all to share these vague, fluffy things as a technologist with feet on the ground guy.
I get that. I totally get that.
I'm not sure if it translates correctly since English is not my main language, but yeah, hopefully you get the point. So yes, because we are potentially, there is a message to give out, but then there's all this kind of idea around what will the perception be, and and a funny story also is like I always thought, hey, this should be like a massive like story, but in all 6 sort of my dreams, like I'm just personal story here, are always very simple words, like Martin, let go. Martin was one of the guys on the boat, or Hank, like forgive. Like, and okay, what is that for? Like a sort of almost stupid thing. Like, but then I asked, like I said to Martin as an example, like, hey Martin, I had this dream. It is very uncomfortable. We know each other for 2 days, but I have this dream, and in this dream I had these 2 words for you, and I did share it, and he was like completely
blown away.
Yeah, blown away. Exactly. And that was exactly because he had his sort of prayer the day before. And I said, hey, this is my massive list of challenges. And I want to have sort of a proof that someone, like a God person or God, listens and answers my sort of questions. And then the day after, or the night after, like a random guy called Ruben came to Martin on the boat. Hey, we're baking eggs. I was like the chef on the boat. We're baking eggs. And I said, hey, Martin, I have tears in my eyes. Even right now when I think about it. Martin, I have these 2 words. Maybe it's nothing. I don't know. And like he crashed. And later I met his wife and his colleagues and his kids. Wow. When we had our barbecue reunion. And he said, hey, Martin was changed completely. And Martin is one of the 6 examples. It's crazy. But,
it's not even the words, it's the frequency. It's what's coming through. It's when you allow something to come through you. Like, I can feel it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Don't have us both crying now. Okay. Well, that's amazing.
It's not like that's not like the strong guy. Like crying is.
That is the strong guy, actually. I think it is. Okay, so let's go to the date was so it's January, so it was 2025.
Yeah, 15th.
The 15th of January is etched in the brain. You ain't forgetting this one.
Should have a tattoo somewhere. When I start forgetting the date, I will bring. I don't think
you're going to need one. I don't think you're going to need one.
I have a tattoo here, so.
Oh yeah. We'll have a look at that in a bit. So on the date, so just take us through. So you'd gone to Texas. So the company that you were with, the name is Dizion. Okay. Yep. So you'd gone out there. So how many of you had gone out there? And it was on a ranch in Texas. So some kind of like jolly, kind of exciting day out. Go on, take us through it.
For sure. It was an exciting day. And we had a management offsite indeed in close to San Antonio in Texas. Rob, the owner of Dizion, and 7 other colleagues, were 8 in total. Rob did rent a big house, with a massive property, for Dutch perspective, almost like a state. Probably isn't that great, but it was a massive property with animals. People could hunt. We didn't do anything like that, but I knew for sure people were hunting. There were trophies, and there were 2 safes with ammunition and guns. So I was walking around to find a power cord. Rob did bring Starlink with him. Yes, it was fun, but also business combined. So it's handy to have an internet connection. So I was looking for a Starlink power cord, which I found. But during that search, there were books around sort of daily diaries, travel books, cooking recipes, all kinds of stacks of books in that house. I was just looking around for that cord, and I found a daily diary. I also could open a cooking chef book or a travel book. Also fits in my bucket of things I like. But that daily diary I opened, on the first page I opened was January 15th. And I thought, hey, that's a coincidence. I made a photo. I look at my watch like this, exactly like this. And that's interesting. The first book I picked up was that daily diary. And the first page I saw was January 15th. I didn't know, of course, what would happen that whole day and days, on the horizon. So I made a photo and just continued. And then the group, we had our offsite with business meetings, planning meetings for the next year. We did pick up some nice barbecue. Welcome in Texas. Great. Rob did bring some drones. We had some drone flights. And he also did bring 2 ATVs, 2 all-terrain vehicles. Mm-hmm. The day before, he did bring them to that big property. He lives also, close by, 3-hour drive or so, closer to San Antonio. And he had a massive trailer with a massive pickup truck, or at least from my perspective, massive pickup truck. Yeah. Welcome in Texas, welcome in the US. While these 2 ATVs were brought into the property. We had a good time. It was personal stories, but business stories. We had fun, good food, and overall a great time. And when you think about it, ATVs, speeding up, I like that as well. Many people who sort of hear the story for the first time will think, you're a reckless driver, or something happened badly with these ATVs while driving, or something along these lines. Mm. But that's not the case at all. Driving was safe. We were well protected. We were speeding, but not too crazy. All good.
Yeah. So just very quickly though, what when you opened the page, because have I got this wrong? But wasn't there a passage in the page?
Yeah,
well, we need to talk about that.
Let's see if I can pick it up.
Or was that something that you just noticed more afterwards?
No, like I wasn't reading that passage. I was just blown away by I pick a book. I open the book.
Yeah.
I could open the other type of books as well. I opened that particular book, and the first page I opened was January the 15th. Yeah. And I knew it was a daily diary because that was like the cover, but I didn't pay any none attention to what is sort of written. I was just blown away by the coincidence, one of the miraculous coincidences of that day. And that's maybe we have some time later. I'll pick up that.
We will because it's. I remember when I was reading the story, I was like, "Wow, that passage on that day is
crazy.
Like unreal." But
I didn't know, and even when I returned back home, safe and sound, otherwise I wouldn't be here talking to you.
Yes,
I had a lot of photos taken, which also is a little bit odd. Although I like to take photos, but it was like all the photos were like part of the complete story, including like this diary thing and many other things. And then a family member asked, like, "Hey, what kind of other photos did you take?" Because I did take a lot of photos, and then I remember, I did take a photo of this passage in this daily diary.
And that's when you saw it.
And it was like 2 days after when I was back home. Many friends and family came over to see how I'm doing, but also they listened to the story. And we watched photos together, including this particular photo. Like, holy macaroni, this is...
Holy macaroni, indeed, yeah. Okay, right, so let's go back to what actually happened. So take us through that.
Yeah. So what happened? So at the end of the evening, I would say at the start of the evening, at the end of the sort of the managed offsite, we packed our gear. We had 2 trucks, and I was sitting in the second truck. The other truck already sort of left, 4 colleagues in that truck. So the second truck was putting this massive trailer where the 2 ATVs were stacked, were loaded on the trailer. Both ATVs were sort of connected with like straps to make them sure that they stay on the trailer. And then we left the property and sort of moved back to Rob's place or to hotels where we stayed for the rest of the next couple of days. It was, I would say, beginning of the evening. It was super dark. It was fresh, like cold, around, I would say, freezing temperature. And we left the property through a massive gate. As I mentioned, there were like a lot of deer and like animals for hunting. So they're like a massive gate. And Rob mentioned, hey, when I did bring the trailer with the ATVs the day before, the rooftop of this ATV hit an iron bar. There were like lights, like headlights on top of the ATV, and that hit iron bar. So he told,
like a bridge to kind of go under.
Like a massive bar with like, it was like probably 2.5 meters, maybe 3 meters high, something like that. Yeah, and the car and the ATV did pass, but like the headlights on that ATV hit that bar. So it was just like a close call. Mm-hmm. And he said, hey, double check if the headlights are still, like, are they good enough? Should we lower the car? So I was jumping out the truck, and Rob was sort of driving the ATV with the truck close enough to like the iron bar so that I could say, hey, the rooftop of the ATV, including the headlights of the ATV, the lights, it's too high. Let's lower the ATVs with like the stripes. Lower the ATV. The suspension was lower. I could say, hey, the iron bar is here. The car is here, including the lights. Yeah, that should fit. Mm-hmm. And then I did sat into the passenger seat.
So sorry. So with the vehicle that you're in, your head is like out then of the
no,
actual
not yet,
vehicle.
not yet.
Okay,
So I was sort of
right.
I matched. I was standing on the trailer to see, hey, is it low enough?
Okay.
Yep, it's low enough. It should work. And then I moved from standing on the trailer sitting inside the ATV.
Mm-hmm.
On the passenger seat, there's no glass window. It's all like metal stuff. And then Chris was sitting in the driver's seat. And then Rob started driving like the big pickup truck with a trailer and the 2 ATVs slowly to cross that like iron bar, like the beam.
Mm-hmm.
And all good, not speeding up at all, but still, like he was moving the car with like a 6,000 kilo setup, something like that. And then I did hear a metal on metal screech. And out of curiosity, I moved out of the passenger seat like this, stuck my head through the windshield, and looked backwards like this to see where the sound come from. Mm-hmm. I had my mobile device with me, put the light on. Hey, where does the sound come from? And Rob was continually driving, and then my head hit a second beam, a second pole, like where, my head was sort of, how do you call it?
Trapped.
Scalped. Not trapped. Okay. If I was trapped, I wouldn't be here in this condition, or I wouldn't be here at all. So I was sort of my head hit on this side, hit the second beam, the second iron bar, and in a sort of split second, I ducked. So I moved my head because I was looking backwards. I moved my head and ducked. That's why this massive wound came to my head, and also like a massive cut in my ear as well. So in a split second, my head was like almost between like a beam and like the rooftop of the car, which I didn't know that it was a rooftop when I was hit. But later, when I saw the photos, which I took, that's why my ear was cut open and my head was cut open by the beam. Then I crashed on the ground, felt my head. It was like one massive red warm slush puppy. Wow. And then Chris, like the guy on the driver's seat, was like asking what's happening. Said, well, not good, shit, not good, something like that. So yeah.
Were you conscious the whole time, or did you pass out? Or
no,
completely conscious.
I did pass out when we left the hospital back to Rob's place.
Okay.
Then I sort of crashed for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, something like that. That freaked out Rob. But there was like way after this whole shit show story.
Yeah. So once obviously that's you realise and you've been scalped essentially.
Yeah, I thought I would die on the spot. That's what I thought.
Yeah. So just take me through that kind of experience. Like, was everybody frantic? Was there did peace arrive? Did everyone just kind of go into just full on action mode? What were your levels of fear like, or were you fairly calm?
Yeah,
take us through that.
Yeah, I was very calm. No screaming, nothing like that. Chris also was calm. Denise, a colleague, also calm, came to me, put her hand on my chest, talking slowly. Rob was sort of freaking out. He was driving the car. He was he's the owner of Vision, as I mentioned. He sort of rented out this property from a friend. He felt really, really, really responsible. So he was sort of freaking out, but not in a sense I could say, hey, he was sort of going nuts. But for sure, there was some cursing and shit and whatever, that for sure happened.
Yeah.
But overall, so 2 things happened, and that will also answer that question in more detail. So I thought, hey, I would die on the spot. I had my understanding was that my jaw was like this. It felt like that. I didn't know it was broken. I didn't know anything. Only thing I knew, hey, this is not how it should be. My head was bleeding like crazy, and I feel shit. That's for sure. And I thought I would die on the spot. I asked Chris, hey, where's my phone? I couldn't find it anymore. It was not in my hoodie. It wasn't in my not with me. And Chris found the phone on the rooftop of that ATV. He did hand over the phone to me. I took a selfie of myself because I thought this could be the last photo of me. And I did send Jacqueline, my wife, a message, not sending the photo. I was cautious enough not to do that.
That
I did send her 2 hearts.
Surprise.
2 hearts to her, like, hey,
oh, bless.
That's it. It was like 2:15 a.m. in the morning for her. So, but yeah. And the second thing I did sing a song to God.
Wow.
If you ask me what is a song, it's a Dutch song. No one knows. It's a very simple song about Jesus, like love Jesus. That's like the simple thing. That took me like probably 4 weeks out, or maybe more, maybe 8 weeks after the accident, which then I remember late in the evening what I did sing. Back then I didn't know what I was singing. I was singing to God, to Jesus for sure. Wow. And after sort of singing that sort of song to God in my head, I was not singing loud. It was like here. I did call out Rob 3 times or 2 times, and he didn't. He was like probably calling like 911 or something like that. And I did call out Rob, like, Rob, please come over here. Do you want to pray for what is happening here? So Rob came, which is also very, like I mentioned earlier, that's maybe an interesting one. Like, remember when I mentioned like these dreams, and over time I learned to just speak up also about these things. And Rob and I, we both share faith, and I knew that I could ask this to Rob, which is also very not common. In the US, you normally don't talk about faith or like too much personal things. But Rob and I, we had a connection.
That goes out the window, doesn't it?
That goes out the window. Right, yeah. So Rob came to like this shit show, and I asked him, "Hey, please pray for me. Please pray for us." And he did, maybe 10 seconds or something like that. And that helped in like staying calm. That was back to your question, but also did help him in making different decisions.
Wow. Okay.
Like, he really is a great guy with a mindset, hey, issue, fix it. See it, fix it. And his mindset was, okay, let's decouple the trailer and drive as fast as I can to the ambulance to save time. We were in the middle of nowhere. It took 45 minutes before the ambulance came on site. And it took an hour and 15 minutes before the ambulance was in the university hospital. So Rob's mindset was, hey, I'm responsible for this. Let me fix it. So in this sort of short prayer for me, but also for him, he came to the conclusion, hey, let's stay. That's what he told me. Like, he received some words, stay here and don't fix it yourself, which is very not Rob style at all. So that's what he did. He said, hey, okay, I will stay here with the car. And the second thing he picked up in this small prayer is, okay, let's move Ruben out of the trailer, out of the ATV, back into the warm car, which also is not something you should normally do when you have a massive head injury. And normally you just stay where you are and wait until the ambulance folks are there. So that's what he received in this small prayer.
Yeah, it's asking for the guidance, isn't it? You're basically connecting, saying, okay, I'm not going to think that I know what I need to do. Let me hand it all over.
Yeah,
and you're
which is not
something...
it's very uncomfortable if you're not wired like that. We talked about it a little bit earlier. So that's what he did.
Wow.
And sort of, so Chris and Rob dragged me out. I stepped out and dragged to and walked like this to the truck. I can still, like, if I think about it, still feel like the warm blood on my my back, things like that. But I can talk about that because I wrote everything down in detail as things to process, so I can sort of easily talk about these things because I've processed everything. So I'm back in the trailer, back from the trailer to the warm car, and then like the ambulance came, as I mentioned, 45 minutes later. It came from a complete different direction than what Rob would do with his car. We were like on a sort of crossroad. with like dirt bike roads and like a gravel road between air quotes, because it was in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Rob would pick that sort of gravel road. The ambulance came from a complete different direction, almost like a biking, like a mountain bike or a dirt bike type of road where this ambulance came from. He probably was just using Google Maps, like what's the fastest route from A to B. This shitty track was the fastest route, so that's where the ambulance came from. So when Rob listened, he saved maybe half an hour or something like that. And guess what could happen in an additional half hour? I don't know. But, and then another interesting fun fact. So when I shot my selfie, as I mentioned, you can only see like I would say 4 centimeter cut in my head, because I was shivering. I had a cold. I put my hoodie on, my hat on of the hoodie. So all the colleagues thought I had an head injury of 4 centimeters, like 12 to like what is 4 centimeters, like a 1.5 inch cut, something like that. And then the ambulance folks sort of they put off this thing, and then holy macaroni, that's like a 24 centimeters massive cut, like like a 10 inch or 12 inch cut. And then they upgraded me instead of like a local small like hospital to like university hospital back in San Antonio, which is like an hour and 50-minute drive. So yeah, that's then during a drive, like there were like 2 guys in the well, there are 3 guys, but 2 guys sort of supporting me in the back of the ambulance. 1 guy was driving, that's the 3rd guy. I was like a young guy being mentored by an older guy. I remember that.
So as in he was quite new, and
he was new.
He was getting a little baptism of fire with your head.
He was like, and he had how do you call it, like a massive needle, because they want to like, and he was like driving like this.
Wow.
And and I asked him twice. So back to your question, how were you conscious? For sure, I was sharp. Probably adrenaline kicked in.
Yeah.
And I was asking, hey, are you sure you can put this needle in my arm while driving like this? And he said, yeah, I'm sure. And I look him in the eyes and say, are you sure? I'm sure, sir. Okay.
Oh.
And then nothing crazy happened, or at least nothing I can remember from that perspective. So back in the hospital, university hospital, probably 10, 12 people around me, learning from it. 3 or 4 students.
Wow.
One crashed.
Right,
passed out.
Yeah.
of seeing that. So I had it afterwards, like after the whole like stitching up 70 stitches together on 3 levels. Yeah, that was like pain I never experienced before. Stitching up, that was like the pain. And of course, like the head itself and the ear did hurt as well, but not as painful as being stitched up.
At any point, had they kind of said to you, like, were they kind of like saying, oh, you this has gone in really far into the brain, or, you might find that, was there any kind of chat like that? They just didn't know.
No, they didn't know. So they only knew after the CT scans. So they stitched me up. That took, I don't know, an hour and a half or so, I'm not sure, like something like that. Yeah. And then it was sort of put into the scanner to see if there's like any like real issue, real damage, like and yeah, miraculously nothing, like no crack, nothing, like zero, nothing. So after, I would say 5 hours in the hospital, 6 hours, I was safe to fly, ready to go back to the hospital, to the hotel. And Rob said, well, stay over in my guest house. We'll take care of you. No, all good. Relatively speaking, good. So no head injury, which is, if you think about it again. So 6,000 kilo trailer with car, guy who was sort of very curious where this sound came from, put his head through a windshield, see where the sound came from, because the rooftop of the car was sort of leaning because we were like downhill. That was the reason why this metal on metal sound from the end of the rooftop hit the first iron pole, the iron beam, the iron bar.
Yeah.
And curiosity had through the windshield, and then my head hit a second iron beam, which cut up on my head. So I was scalped. That's the whole point, from top to like here, 24 centimeters, and like I would say, ear was cut as well.
Wow.
Crazy.
So with reference to kind of getting home, then obviously the conversation with your wife.
Oh yeah.
How did that go down?
Yeah, it was a short conversation because it was still like being like, it was like after the CT scan, so they knew what sort of the status was. They knew I could go back home to Rob's place in this example. And I was between like 3 levels of sort of flash should be sort of wired up. And they said, hey, we need to wait 5 minutes before some other guy in this example came. They said, hey, can I call my wife? It was like 8 a.m. in the morning. She was walking the dog in the dog park. And I remember I was using FaceTime. I did not enable webcam when I called her, so only voice. But there was like some sort of, it took, I would say 5, 6, 7 seconds before it was well connected. So I thought, hey, after this 5 seconds, I should be able to enable the camera. So she saw me first with like this massive, still sort of cut and like bandage here and still blood here, because this was still not fixed up yet. Yeah, she was in shock. And the funny in this whole shit show story is that in this funny example is that she was in shock, and because she was in shock, she took 2 buttons, and that means in FaceTime you can record this whole conversation. Wow. I didn't know. She didn't know either. Okay, so afterwards, I had this whole recording without audio, so only the video of her eating a banana, in shock, walking the dog in the dog park. That was a relatively short conversation, like 2-3 minutes, because the doctor came in to fix up the rest. And I was still like dizzy for different reasons, like being hit makes you dizzy. The anesthesia makes you dizzy. So she said, "Hey, what happened?" So I said, "Yeah, I was like in the ATV and my head hit an iron bar, something along these lines." So she thought I was driving the ATV. I didn't know all the details I'm sharing right now. I wasn't super clear, but I said, "Hey, I'm fine right now. I had a massive injury, but I'm ready to go back home after they finish this final piece." And then I'm heading to Rob's place, I would say. And then she thought, hey, should I go to you? Should I book a flight? I want to go to you. And it was already clear that I was able to fly back on the same schedule, like a day and a half later, back home. So I told her, no need to do so. I'm fine. I'm fit to fly, which says something in the US. They wouldn't let you go if you're not fit to fly, for sure. Yeah. And I said, hey, by the time you're in San Antonio, it will take you a day. I should be able to fly back home on my own, or at least that's the impression I got. It was like a two-leg flight from San Antonio to Atlanta, and then Atlanta to Schiphol. Close friend Kevin lives in Atlanta. That's later, and not in the ER room, but later when I had a chat with Kevin, we had some like a fail-safe. In case something strange happened in the first leg, Kevin should be able to pick me up from Atlanta and bring myself to his home in case of something shit happen. So I told her I should be able to fly home, but yeah, she was in shock, and also she didn't know all the details like I'm sharing right now, the super details. Yeah. Then we drove back to fixed up, drove back to Rob's place, passed out in Rob's car, so he freaked out.
Poor Rob's had a bad time, hasn't he?
Exactly, yeah. So he said, hey, I'll drive back to the hospital because this is not great. So no, all good. I'm feeling well-ish. Continue driving. So we landed in his place, spent the rest of the night, I would say the rest of the 2 hours in sort of sleeping mode, but no sleep at all. It's just repeating the story.
Yeah, quite traumatized, I would imagine.
For sure.
Like,
For
the whole thing, and even
sure.
if you do come out of something and you're okay,
like
there's always that kind of that rumination of what could have happened.
Why me? Why now?
Yeah,
that whole story. And then when I woke up ish at, I would say, probably 11 o'clock, the other colleagues, like all the colleagues, came by. Because only the colleagues were in Rob's car. No, that's not correct. Most of the colleagues, all of the colleagues were in the hospital as well. Not directly. Only Chris was with me in the ambulance, in the part in the ER. He was in shock when he saw me because he thought I only had a cut here. He never saw the big picture, and he made the photo of the big, the 12-inch, the 24-centimeter cut. Rob wasn't there. Denise wasn't there. The other colleagues were not there. Some of them came to the ER, but the day after, everyone came back to Rob's place and say hello. And of course, they hear the story from Chris, from Rob, from Denise. They were on site during that accident, and they all, the colleagues who were involved, they thought they could die on the spot with the massive injury. Especially Rob, because he saw, as the only colleague, my massive cut. Before I put on the hoodie, Rob was was very close to where I was, and saw a massive bleeding wound in my head. So he thought this guy would die on the spot. That's why he sort of freaked out and became sort of relaxed after that prayer.
I guess if you met with that visually, you kind of have an idea of what's potentially a fatal accident. You kind of
that he caused. He didn't cause it at all. It was my curiosity which caused it.
Yeah, well,
bad luck
just one of those. Just one of those things that was always going to happen. That's the way you got to look at this stuff. It's just an unfolding of events that was always supposed to happen. And also maybe I just think that there's always an opportunity to just deepen your faith, and that's what you already had the faith, and it sounds like everybody.
And Rob as well. He also had his faith.
Exactly.
And for sure, the other colleagues do have their own faith. Doesn't matter. They picked up something. I know for sure. Of course, after when at Rob's place, we briefly talked. Talking was tough. Head was massive pain. But afterwards, the weeks after in recovery, we had multiple conversations, one-on-ones, while we talked about these sort of crazy coincidences and what it means to me. And I know for sure, when I talk with Chris and Denise and Rob and others, I know for sure that they remember this and they talked about this and they remember this sort of miraculous coincidences for sure. And I hope and pray that these sort of miraculous coincidences and this story will do something for someone. It doesn't matter who it is. If it's a direct colleague who I love, or if it's someone else who I don't know, maybe who's listening into this podcast. I truly believe, and know for sure, not believe, but I know for sure, and I can explain a little bit later why I believe for sure. But I know for sure that there will be someone who picks up something of this conversation, of this story.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and it's the synchronicities, and it's also when you're in an experience and trying to explain it to people so they get it is not always as easy but understanding of how someone appears. It's like when there's a car accident and then suddenly a doctor arrives because the doctor was 2 cars behind, or it's like if it was going to be your time, it would have been your time. But when it's not your time, everything is placed.
Yeah, it's crazy. If I think about it, this daily diary, praying for Rob and praying for myself and what it meant. There are a couple of other things we didn't talk about yet. I'm not sure how we're doing on time.
Yeah, no, go for it. Go for it. We can talk about it all. No problem. So
I mentioned there are 2 legs to go back home, from San Antonio to Atlanta back to Schiphol. And of course, I knew that I was fit to fly. Otherwise, I wouldn't get a letter from the doctors in the US. But between knowing and knowing for sure is, okay, let's experience it. So in the first flight, I was like a little bit nervous, like how will the head, how will the injury, which was all stitched together, how will that react on like a big pressure can?
Pressure, yeah, like your brain injury at the end of the day.
Exactly. So I was like, and we, Rob and Kevin, we all sort of prepped as good as we could. I had sort of my wheelchair all prepped, but still, I'm the guy in that plane and not sure how that will happen. So welcome in the US. Military people and people with disability can enter the plane first. Yeah, I'm disabled. Big.
You look it. You look it at this point.
There's no doubt. Also, before entering the airport, like the facial recognition in like customs didn't work. So manager kitchen. Yeah, I can see why this. I can see why this photo didn't match you. But all jokes aside, I was able to enter the plane. I think second or third, maybe fourth, but very soon. I was entering the plane. It was like 250 people could fit in that plane. I was sitting middle seat, not a great position. So I was booked middle seat, I should say, and I was sitting aisle seat because the doctor said, "Hey, drink as much as you can. It means you will go to the restroom a lot. So aisle seat is best." And then the beauty of this miraculous story, this particular story, is that the fourth guy or the fifth guy entering that plane was sitting next to me. So he was sitting in the middle seat. I asked him, "Can I switch seats? I would love to sit on the aisle seat. I need to go to the restroom a lot." And then we started chatting a little bit. And he asked Lily, "Hey, what happened?" And I told him, like, "Accident." Yeah, I can tell. And I said to him, "Hey, this and this happened," like the brief story of this long story. And I asked him, "Hey, can you handle crazy, bloody photos with this massive cut in my head?" So yeah, I can handle it. I was a medic in the US Army for many years, and I'm now an ambulance guy.
Oh, so you knew you were okay, beautiful. Right?
There's
you
like a living angel sitting next to me. So, and we talked about he's living in Scottsdale, and I've been in Scottsdale a couple of times. And I told him, "Hey, I have plans to go to Scottsdale in November 2025. Do you have any sort of advice, any things to visit?" So we had a chat about travel. As I mentioned, travel I like, and he mentioned a couple of things. And I asked him, "Hey, please write down. I cannot remember these things right now." So he wrote, and I gave him my phone. Opened like an empty email, but he saw my name in this email header, and he was writing down, "Visit this, visit that, do this." And why I'm mentioning this is that when I landed, I received a message from LinkedIn that someone in the US Army or former US Army visited your LinkedIn profile. So I thought, hey, wow, this living angel has a LinkedIn profile as well. That's what I remember. So yeah. But the funny of this whole story is that even if you're in doubt, if you're in doubt, which I shouldn't, because all the things I was taken care of, and God was with me during that whole shit show. Even then, I was sort of in doubt or not sure what will happen on the first leg with my head and the pressure cam. Then even then, a guy was sitting next to me, like entering the plane right after me and sitting next to me. Like, what a coincidence that out of 250 people,
everything is provided crazy. For. It's like when you, like, if you actually let go, like, even though you were going to be fine because you, like you say, you were held, to just have that extra support of knowing, just that ability to relax. To go, okay, thank you. Thanks for providing this angel.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, wow, that's just so beautiful.
And then the second, like, so what Kevin told me, Atlanta is like one of the biggest airports worldwide, or at least in the US. Use the wheelchair service, which will bring you from that plane to the plane to Schiphol, because it can be busy. You might miss your flight. You don't want to miss your flight in your condition. Use the wheelchair service, because a plane will never, ever leave when someone in a wheelchair is scheduled to go to that plane.
That's interesting.
So, great, because I could walk. I said, well, I can walk. No. Yeah, I know you can walk. You will be slower, but I can walk. Use the wheelchair service because that's sort of your extra insurance that you will make your second flight. You will make the plane. So that's what I did. I was on time. I went to the counter and I just did ask the friendly lady at the desk, hey, is there still an upgrade available from economy to business? And she said, yes, there's one seat left, but there are 4 other people on the waiting list. I asked him, is there a seat left? And she said, yes. So am I able to sort of get this seat with like points, or can you upgrade me for free? Like the Dutch way of getting an upgrade didn't work. She said, hey, no, there are 4 other people on the waiting list. You will be 5th. But looking at your condition, you will first pay, I don't know, $600 or $700. So I paid my upgrade. And my strategy was, okay, hey, and like a 9-hour or 10-hour flight, that gives me some rest, get some sleep, and laying flat would be helpful. So I paid my upgrade. The Schiphol, the KLM flight crew walked by. The captain looked at me and said, hey, what happened? I said, accident. Yeah. I'm fit to fly. And we had a chat in Dutch briefly about what happened, like the short version of this whole long story.
Yeah.
But then everyone on the KLM flight knew there was like a crazy Dutch guy with like a big...
Yeah.
So, but then a little bit later, the captain came back to me and he asked me again, like, are you really sure? Can I have proof that you're fit to fly? Because they are responsible. When they close the door, they are responsible for whatever happens on the flight. And I told them, I did show them the letter, and that gave him like all the confidence that I'm ready, and also like the first flight, all good. So what happened then? Some like some drinks, no alcohol, just all relaxed, lay flat. Or at least there was a plan. But then like the cabin crew came by. And I start talking and making selfies, had the before photo and the after photo, that kind of stuff. But yeah, beautiful conversations about life, about the crash, the things. Yeah. So not so much sleep. I was able to.
Well, you were a bit of a superstar on the flight, weren't you? Everybody wanted a picture with you, big kind of.
It was crazy. But I had like an hour and a half of sort of sleeping time, and during that time. I was like thinking, okay, what will happen when I'm back home? How will this sort of heal? Would I be like normal again? Define normal, but would I be the normal guy again?
Yeah.
And also, why this has happened. And I remember when I talked about these sort of dreams, I didn't hear a voice of God, like, hey, these words, but like you hear a voice, like here, you hear like that's what I did hear during that. Flying back, like, hey, if there's someone, if there's someone who picks up something, one and thing, then just share the story.
Yeah.
So if there's someone, when I mentioned it already a couple of times, when there's someone who picks up something of this story, mission accomplished, I would say. This mission wasn't the mission when I started this management offsite, but it became sort of a mission afterwards. So
I think there's something in like, I think there is a great awakening happening, and and I think that there is like a real need for people to share their stories, and maybe there was a level of you were already having experiences which you were sharing in your smaller group.
Yes.
Maybe you needed just a little bit of a bigger one to kind of go a bit bigger. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like that is a thing. Like I know from my own experiences and having had some, a very big experience myself, it's like, I think we can play small with it because we think we don't want to upset anyone else. But actually, everybody's just waiting to wake up. Everybody's waiting for that kind of bit of something that just touches the soul and makes them go, you know what?
I'm not sure if I'm ready for the next big thing. If it's like bigger than this, I'm fine with that. But,
you might be done.
Someone told me the same thing, and I agree. Also, when I think about these dreams, as I mentioned, the first dream was a very small dream for a personal friend, and that gave me confidence to share that dream. The second dream with Martin was much more uncomfortable because I didn't know Martin. The third and fourth and fifth and sixth dream I didn't talk about. All good, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Were all bigger and even more sensitive topics or more impactful topics for others. And now this is not a dream, but like real life. Yeah, hopefully I know for sure there's someone who gives up something. I've shared the story on a couple of keynote stages in a shorter version.
Yeah.
And afterwards, 10 people, 15 people in one-on-ones came to me.
Yeah.
And there was one guy I remember, like an event in Berlin. He is a veteran, like ex-military European guy, and he fought in war. And he was hit by a bullet in his neck. And he came to me. He said, "This is like long time ago. That accident, this freak accident happened to him." And I did share this story and some other personal stories on stage, which is, again, very uncomfortable. And he told me, like, "Hey, I like what you shared also about the relationship with your family, with your dad, with your kids, like all kinds of other things besides this story." Because that's what he told me. He said, "Hey, I thought I processed everything. Like 90% was processed. And there was like 10% which was not processed." And I'm talking to, he's talking to me. He said, I didn't process this 10%. And that is impacting the relationship with his son and him. And because of what you shared, that opened up my heart, my eyes, whatever you want to call it, to do something. So he told me, I have homework to do. So big thanks for what you shared. So at least I know for sure there's someone who picks up something out of that whole shit show story.
For sure. Yeah. And you can't protect the people that it might not resonate with. It's like anything. It's like, it might be just the one. It might, it's really just about, it's gonna touch the people that it needs to touch, and the rest of them can, And
it will also touch people who become angry, not angry because they will become sort of annoying, irritated by me sharing this story. I know for sure. I did hear interact like, really? "Hey, why should you share this story?" Or why?
Oh, that's interesting.
And that's fine. Like, it's for someone who picks up something. So maybe it's not for them, or maybe it's not for them right now. Could also be. Yeah. So I'm totally relaxed and positive about that.
But the way I look at that is, the word God and these experiences are triggering because they're very triggering to the ego. Right. So the ego, there is almost like a preservation of the ego, which is like, it's almost like in religion and things like that, God is like wrathful, and God is,
rules.
He rules, you sin. Most people have had an experience probably with religion, and they're like, I didn't like that version of God at all. What I know God is now is not that. God is unconditional love. But I also understand how it is a trigger for the ego in people who have been taught what God is, and it's not that. It's not that. So, it's like, but you will also reach some people who are ready to hear it, and they're ready to hear it from a chief technical officer who's worked, for some of these like really, really amazing startups, etc. Like, because it's real. You're keeping it real. At the end of the day, I'm a headhunter recruiter who, has been on her spiritual journey. When recruiters get a terrible rap, it's like, but maybe that's my job.
It makes you human. Back to the title of this conversation.
Exactly. It's like, but at the end of the day, we might all have our jobs and our roles, but underneath that, we are so much more, and we're here to help each other. We're here to help each 100%.
Other. 200%.
And if it's a prompt for someone. Anybody
that's help. That's help from a business side, from a personal side, sometimes financial side. Could be from a mental side, like this topic. For sure. Yeah, beautiful.
Amazing. So what I want to just come back to just quickly was when you went back to that page from the 15th of January.
Oh yeah. Let's see if I can.
Have you got it?
Yeah.
I might be able to actually edit it in so somebody can read it, but. So on the day you weren't really familiar with, you weren't totally aware of what that was saying. You just noticed the date. When you've gone back to the screenshot, what does it say? Go
on. Let's see if I just scan through. You're able to share, right? So the Christian life is all about trusting me. So trusting me in good times and in hard times.
So it's a page about. Is it a biblical reference or what actually was it?
No. It's just I'm just picking up some words here, and there's like 1, 2, 3, like 4 like Bible verses connected to this page someone wrote. This page is like, the Christian life is all about trusting me in good times and hard times. I'm the Lord over all your circumstances. So I want to be involved in every aspect of your life. You can quickly connect with me by affirming your confidence in me here and now. When your world seems dark and you trust me anyway, my light shines brightly through you. Your display of transcendent faith weakens spiritual forces of evil, and my supernatural light showing through your blesses and strengthens people around you. Clinging to me in the dark requires you to persistently exert your willpower. But while you're grasping onto me, remember my hand and my eternal grip on yours. I will never let you go. Moreover, my spirit helps you hanging on. When you feel the verge of giving up, cry out for his assistance. Help me, Holy Spirit. This brief prayer enables you to tap into his limited resources. Even when your circumstances look dark and threatening, my light is still shining on you, surpassing splendor.
And that was it, though. That's what you did. You cried out for Holy Spirit. Like you were like, help me.
Yep.
In the darkness. Like that's what you did. Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful, huh? So it's still like, it's crazy, yeah. So you end your conversation with a guy, like a technologist, crying and laughing as well, and that's life, right? Crying and laughing, and almost like the same
I
time.
think it's the most wonderful thing.
Hopefully, there's someone who picks up something. And it was like you mentioned, like, hey, it almost like is building up to something bigger. For me, this is big enough. I'm totally fine. But I had two people came to me after the conversation, like, hey, this is like a story. This is almost like a Netflix sort of short story of half an hour. I don't know if that's a story, but I'm fine with this. With someone who picks up something out of this, I'm totally fine with it.
And what I really see as well is like just seeing the emotion coming through you when you talk about your experiences. Like you can't manufacture that. Like that is a heart opening, full on divine connection experience. And I know that, but unless you've experienced that, you can't comprehend what's happening. It's like that amount of love, that divine agape love that comes through it's not of this world. It's not of this world. Okay. And that's why it touches you it's so big, so huge.
Beautiful, huh?
Yeah. Oh, honestly,
even in shitty scenarios, and yeah, this is shitty for me, but I'm still here in health. This could be much different. I could not be here, or even worse, I could be here, not able to chug, maybe drink a steak through a straw.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know for sure there are many other people with even worse shit experiences. And I don't know why that happens. I know we are in a shit world and God didn't plan this world to be shit. But it is what it is. And I believe there is a better world after this world. But yeah, it is what it is right now on this side. And
beautiful. Oh, Ruben, well, thank you. I'm so grateful for you to share.
Thanks for asking and thanks for connecting. I'm grateful for Mark Templeton as well to connect us because of your interview with him, which was also a beautiful interview as well. It was a great conversation. Yeah, I did post something on LinkedIn. Okay. That's how we connected. Yes, that's how we reach out. We start the business conversation.
Yeah,
and then I think I'm not sure. Like probably 15 minutes in, you said, "Hey, I can sense there's more." And it's there's like a freak accident story. Oh, tell me more about that. Tell me more. I want to know more about that.
Well, it's really interesting because what I find is my business conversations, like it's all good, right? It's all good. There's no judgment of that, but like it's just everything's running so much deeper now, and I know that whoever arrives is for me, is for my growth and my learning, and as soon as that kind of arrived, because I was like, okay, this feels like it's just a kind of quite normal conversation about maybe a new role and all that, and and the thing for me is it's like that's absolutely fine, but something ignites in me the minute we start talking about these kind of experiences, connection, spirituality, etc. So as soon as
you triggered, you had like something like breath,
yes.
pray, love, or something like that. Is your thing? So that was like a trigger to me. Yeah. So and that's, I think I opened the conversation like a little bit like, hey, explain more about that. And then
we started with the breath work. That was it. I told you about how I got into the breath work and the ceremonial cacao, plant medicine stuff, which was a big opener. And then there was a big experience. And then the Course in Miracles, which has been next level.
Beautiful, huh?
Yeah, beautiful. So thank you so much. I'm so grateful. I will let you know. I'll probably get this one out pretty quick, I think.
Beautiful.
So here to spread the message, innit?
The human side of work, the human side of life. Beautiful. Thanks for the great conversation, and thanks for the opportunity to share this story with your audience.
Thank you, Ruben.